Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Environment Sustainability Committee meeting number 4 of 2023. I'll commence by checking councillors' attendance and all committee members here. Thank you. Move to acknowledgement of country. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people. Are there any declarations of interest in the matter on the agenda today? No. We have nil business outstanding, so I'll move to confirmation of minutes, being the confirmation of minutes of the Environment Sustainability Committee meeting number 3 of 2023 on the 18th of April. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. A seconder? Thank you, Mayor Harding. Is there any discussion with regards to the minutes? No? Then I'll put to the vote. Those in favour? Unanimous and carried. Thank you. Item 2 is our first and only officer's report of the day. The EnviroPlan targeted acquisition within identified strategic areas under the Natural Environment Strategy. Committee, this is a report concerning potential future acquisitions through the EnviroPlan levy in priority areas as identified in Council strategies and plans, including the Natural Environment Strategy, the Ipswich Integrated Catchment Plan and the EnviroPlan Capital Investment Strategy. Council approval is being sought in accordance with the Property Acquisition Disposal Policy and procedures to enter into voluntary negotiations with landowners for acquisition of properties for conservation purposes. May I call forward the appropriate officer to answer some questions? Thanks.
Good morning, Chair, Mayor, Councillors, Phil Smith, Natural Environment and Land Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Could I start out by asking, even though it's in the papers, but could you just give us a précis on the strategy and the framework in which it will be undertaken?
Yeah, thank you. So through multiple strategic planning exercises that we've been through over the past probably 3 to 5 years, most notably and most recently the Natural Environment Strategy, we try and identify areas of high value from a conservation and ecological perspective. Once we've identified these areas, there are various mechanisms that we have at our disposal to conserve and improve those areas. One, where we've got existing ownership or freehold of land, we can manage it and improve it. The other mechanism, as mentioned before, is through our partnership, so we can work with landowners for private land to conserve and enhance them. And the third one, which this report speaks of, is the acquisition of land to then improve and regenerate. So through those various strategies, including the Natural Environment Strategy, the Waterway Health Strategy, and other pieces of strategic planning, certain areas keep coming up and rise to the top. So we can put all these layers of interest on and highlight which areas would be suitable, or indeed which ones are required for that acquisition process. Longer term, historically we've had a strategic acquisition plan. At the moment that's been developed, but in lieu of that, we're using those strategic mapping exercises to really kind of highlight which areas should be targeted for acquisition.
So as if I just can confirm, it'll be within those strategic areas that are identified, and then specifically look at the availability of lots,
yep.
And over time it would enable council to be able to be, I suppose the term would be more nimble, agile, to be able to make offer for acquisition when the time is ripe.
That's right. Yeah, we are still talking about voluntary acquisition. There's certainly no speak or intent to look at compulsory acquisitions. It's really about being on the front foot when it comes to acquisitions. So over the last few years, and I think in your term, we've made one acquisition, which was an opportunistic one at Grantchester, where we got a phone call and someone offered us the land. We get that quite a lot. We've got good working relationships with neighbouring landowners, but it's generally, yes, responsive. So what we're doing is taking it just a little step further and making inquiries, I suppose, into some of those areas. Again, what we're looking for is connected larger scale corridors, working around land that we already own, to have those larger scale better bang for buck and regional benefits for these kind of things. What we tend to get with the opportunistic approach is a single person with a single block giving us a call and saying, are you interested in purchasing our land? Now, there's a full process for that. There's a policy around assessment of those individual blocks in terms of their potential value under the EnviroPlan acquisition levy, but often they don't stack up because they're not necessarily connected or within those strategically important areas. So this step is to go a little bit more proactive and just keep an eye out and reach out to some of those areas that we know that we really need to improve the connectivity and general value of our land portfolio and the neighbouring estates, I think.
Yes. So in the long term view, this will further enable council to be able to provide that the larger corridor connections between our large conservation estates, fulfilling the true role of EnviroPlan.
Yep, and connectivity is one of the biggest or the most important considerations for us when it comes to habitat improvement and habitat management and kind of general environmental values. The scale of this country means that a lot of our fauna and flora species need huge areas to move through, to disperse into. Often they're migratory, and having that uninterrupted corridor of good quality vegetation and habitat is really, really important. Koalas are a great example of that. They really need large range areas to cover and disperse into. Where you get small remnant populations that are isolated, they're often, as a population, unviable because they can't get new genetic material in. They try and disperse and get hit by cars. So having that connectivity is really important for a whole range of species and achieving our outcomes that we're trying to strive for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any other member of the committee wish to ask any questions? No? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Committee, the recommendation is that Council approve a targeted approach engaging with private property owners located within the strategic priority area identified in confidential attachments 2, 3 and 4 for the purposes of identifying acquisition or partnership options for conservation purposes under the EnviroPlan levy. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. A seconder? Thank you, Councillor Kunzmann. I open the matter for discussion. Mayor.
Thank you. Chair, may I ask if we could make that recommendation A, and make recommendation B something that is stated in the report, which is on page 13. It says, before a contract is entered into by council, a report will be presented to the Environment and Sustainability Committee for approval to use EnviroPlan levy funds to purchase any property. May I ask if that particular sentence could be made into a recommendation B to ensure that that does happen?
So, sorry, Mayor Harding, you said that was on page 13?
Oh, what, 13 of 28?
13 of 28?
It's just under point 3.
Point 3. You want all of point 3 included as...
No. Just that sentence that says, before a contract is entered into by council, a report will be presented to the Environment and Sustainability Committee for approval to use EnviroPlan levy funds to purchase any property. I'm asking the mover and the seconder if we could, for that to be made recommendation B.
Okay, that absolutely makes sense.
Chair. Yep.
That's okay.
So you're happy with that as mover, Councillor Fechner, and Councillor Kunzmann as seconder? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mayor, for picking up on that.
You said you only had one report, but it's a doozy. It's such a great program that's been going for 30 years now. EnviroPlan. It's great to see this process, and the area that we're looking at is a fantastic area as well, and much needed.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I just want to, echo the sentiment of the Mayor to speak to the positivity of this. but also allows us to be agile and way more strategic than we've potentially been in the past as well. So when those opportunities do, become available, we can pounce and expend that EnviroPlan money. I mean, that's why we collect it, so that we can spend it to protect, future generations and get better environmental outcomes.
Absolutely. Great to see a local government being proactive instead of reactive, and being able to be in the position to take charge of opportunity. Any further discussion? No?
Sorry, Chair, just to be very micro, just in relation to the new recommendation B, just in terms of our format, just can I suggest we put that before a contract is entered into by council?
Yes.
A report will be presented to, and we'll capitalise the committee and et cetera. So just rough notes, but just to add the word that. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. Yes, that is absolutely correct. You're happy as mover and as seconder. Excellent. Make it more a direction. Any further discussion? No? Then I'll put the matter. Those in favour? It's unanimous and carried. Thank you. I have no notices of motion. I believe no matters arising. Now, time is currently 12:03 p.m. As the unofficial watcher of lunch, I feel that I've become, due to the sequence of committees.
And I think too,
I would
we've
suggest-
got the special meeting on afterwards too,
Yes.
Chair, so if we could
Yes.
have the break now, I think would be
Yes,
good.
I would suggest we break for lunch now, as opposed to separating the next committee and the special meeting. Sorry? What time do you propose? So I would suggest if we take 45 minutes, which would take us to 12:50. Happy with that? So, to do so, need a motion that that the Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee meeting commence at 12:50. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. Those in favour? Unanimous and carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll close this meeting now.